Okay. Okay. So think the first question. How's I mean, h- how's it been?
It's going good. It's been good. I've been just working on freelance, and I'm really hoping to wrap. I've scheduled to wrap this new job up, um, like on the 20th of April. So my goal is to wrap up this job and then work on some of my own stuff for a while, and basically say no to freelance for a little bit, unless it's some amazing job that I can't say no to, like. Um,
Like Games
but
Work?
yeah, that's kind of the goal. Yeah.
Like I say, like if Games Workshop was like, hey, like please, we'll give you like six figures if you draw our space fascists. Then it's like you
Yeah.
it's like okay.
Yeah. Something like that. Something, like, I don't know. I did a board game, like, I did a board game basically half of last year, and it was a lot of work, and I got paid a good amount for it, which was nice. But like, I don't know if I want to keep doing an entire board game unless it's something I really am excited about.
Hmm.
Just because it's so much work, you basically, because I work full time. I work full time already at a game
From
studio,
whatever
so
young
like I'm
age.
not I'm not just working on freelance. I'm working on my day job, and then I do freelance on the side. So I'm trying to like uh, I'm trying to take on projects that are more interesting to me. So like, IP that's more interesting, like stuff like that. Yeah.
All right, all right. I think hmm. I think I started off trying to make my own thing, but I think
Yeah.
the one thing that kind of worked against that I I think by then I didn't exactly have like the discipline necessary to kind of like do it because essentially it's like one like one time I would try like doing like this comic book idea that I still have in my head where basically it's like there's this guy in I think Japan and this scientist has essentially has this, like he has this invention that's in the form of like a helmet
Hmm.
and essentially like he like these mutants are trying to basically destroy the helmet because it's kind of like the greatest threat to their plans for like world domination or something. And then
Hmm.
basically it's just the first issue is just him running around like trying to avoid getting killed, and like he's just talking to this helmet, and people are like so what the hell, he's talking to this weird looking helmet, the crazy guy. And then at the end, that's when he like finds the suit, and he becomes like this like Sentai kind of like character, and that was like my idea, and it was a cool. I thought it was a cool idea, but I did not have the discipline required to like keep on working on it. I just
Hmm.
I immediately burned out on page four,
Yeah.
so it's yeah it's like
That'll happen.
yeah just it's just like I tried doing it, but like I think it just didn't feel good. Like it's like I don't know. I think I, it sounds insanely immature, of course, doing it because like it's in this field, like it shouldn't matter how it feels. Like you should just get it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I
Well,
just
it's easier to get things like, I think depending on how well you plan out the project, like if you really planned out the project, and like, I think getting a real plan going gets you excited about it.
hmm,
I think it's a little easier to do things if you have more of a structure. Sometimes when you just say like, I'm just gonna do a comic, like without, like, if you just say you're gonna do a comic but like you've never had any experience writing, like, you're basically saying a bunch of stuff. You're like saying, I want to write, I want to draw, I want to like lay out, I want a letter.
hmm.
You're like you're doing it, but if you break it down into like simple things, one at a time, it's easier to handle. It's like if you just say, I want to write a comic script, then you do that. Then you're like, okay, I want to lay out the comic. You do that. Then you're like, okay, now I'm going to draw the comic, and then you do that. You just kind of slowly build on it. It becomes more doable
Yeah,
than
that's like,
just
yeah,
doing it all at once.
yeah. No, I think that's kind of like the problem. Like, no, no, I think it's a bit more. I did do all these things, but for some
Mm-hmm.
reason on like page four, it just it's like I, I just I cower like hmm, like the best word to say, yeah, I bowed out because like I think that there's like it's the sheer scale of it. Like it's like a lot of
Yeah.
pages, and like I haven't exactly done a lot of pages before. I mean,
Yeah.
which is straight, which is like ridiculous in hindsight, because like basically I went to SVA, and I did
Mm-hmm.
cartooning. I had to do like a almost like double digit page project as my final.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, when it comes to my own stuff, it's just I mean, granted, it got better. Like I did multiple other projects, like short comics, stuff like that, and but at it's at first it was just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Yeah, I don't know. That can be hard. I've had ideas I wanted to start for a while that I just never got around to it because like, I'm just not. It's like one of those like it's fun to have ideas, but like how many things are going to actually be a project and like you gotta when you're going to invest a bunch of time into an idea, it needs to be like something that's either a like really worth it to you, you know, or like B maybe somehow or another it's easy for you to do.
Mm.
Like oh like I can already do this anyway, so like I'm just gonna keep doing it. So it becomes like an easy thing you just do on the side. Um, or then the C project is just somebody is paying you and you kind of have to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
like where it's like oh well you're contractually obligated to finish this or you're going to be in trouble for not finishing it. You know?
Yeah,
But on the flip side you get money. So
yeah. Ah,
those are the main reasons I always see people like um, with project like it's either you're paid to do it and you kind of have to do it, or you are paying to do it. So like if you're like in a school, maybe you're paying to be a part of a class. So you not doing the work is you wasting money,
Mm.
um, or it needs to be something you're just really passionate about that you have fun doing, you're passionate about.
Mm.
Just a bunch of things have to line up.
Yeah, yeah,
You got to have fun doing it because if you don't have fun doing it, then you need to get paid well to do it. You know, like uh, yeah,
yeah. I
I
think.
do a daily comic, and like my daily comic, it's like easy and kind of it's easy and fun for me to do. It's two different things, easy and fun.
Mm.
So I do it every day. Some days I miss it because I'm too busy. So some days I'll just repeat a comic or something.
Mm.
But for the most part, I do it every day. And like one of the only reasons I've been able to maintain it is because it's a really simple style, and I don't have to like it doesn't take all day to do the drawing. It just takes like maybe 10, 30 minutes to do it, and I'm done. So like the time commitment is very low. But I kind of designed it that way. Like I knew the characters were going to be really simple, so I was like, okay, well the characters are going to be really simple, so there's kind of no excuse not to draw it because it's such an easy thing to draw. That's kind of that's one of the things I did for myself.
Yeah, I think like yeah, I think that is a mistake that I'm still doing to this day. Like where it's like it's the scale and the design, where basically I put a
Mm-hmm.
lot of details on just everything. And when I think recently I've had this idea for a comic book. It's about like a luchador who basically fights off vampires to protect the uh, the children in his orphanage. And
Oh yeah, that sounds similar to there's an animated luchador versus vampires that's coming out.
yeah, 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 that yeah,
Sorry, I don't want to be one of those people that does. Oh, that sounds just like this. But there's like a new cartoon show that's coming out that
yeah.
it's a luchador versus vampires.
Yeah, I think it's by the same guy who did like El Tigre.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's it's different though. It's it's like it's just like it's. I think if you read the script, like it's kind of different, but like essentially just um, the first chapter alone is almost 40 pages, and it's
Oh
like
wow, it's pretty big. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like I'm just trying to find out ways to like shorten the first chapter,
Mhm.
so that way I can like I could do it, and it's like one, not have to like waste so many like supplies, you know, and two, it's like so that much like it wouldn't be that much of a problem to do because I've done like 20 to 21 to 25 pages before,
Yeah.
but I think 40 pages, that's like I feel like I haven't built up to that yet.
I mean, you just gotta break it into chunks. If you're comfortable doing 20 pages, you just think of it as two sets of 20.
2 sets of
You're
20.
just doing two sets. You're just doing two sets of 20. You're not doing 40.
Okay.
That's a mental way I do it. Where I'm like, whenever I'm working out, if I need to do like, let's say I need to do 30 push-ups, um, I think of 30 push-ups like three sets of 10. So I'm just counting 10 3 times, and for some reason psychologically, that helps me get to 30 instead of just me counting 1 to 30. Like breaking it up into smaller units just psychologically helps me to like do the same. It's the same mathematically, right? I'm still doing 30, but like if I count it differently, it feels different.
Hmm.
But that's just like something that I do. I don't know. It might help you, might not.
I think it kind of might help me. I think. Uh, like, okay, so what are you trying to do? Are you trying to do the sci-fi idea?
Um, there's a bunch of things I want to do. Like, I wouldn't mind doing some kind of sci-fi thing. I'm gonna probably do some sci-fi horror art just for fun, in hopes that I could maybe either work on a film or
Hmm.
just do I don't know like some kind of maybe get hired for like an RPG book cover or something like. I'm trying to for freelance. I'm trying to switch from doing instead of me doing an entire board game. I would like my freelance to be me doing like the box art or the cover and like not really doing the entire game itself. Like I'd rather be like the cover artist or box artist, and I'd rather be doing multiple jobs like that than doing like one entire board game.
Hmm.
That's one of the goals, and then there's some other things I have like that I really want to work on. I would love to do an absinthe bottle label, which I'm kind of in the works. I'm meeting with this guy that he's a co-partner at an absinthe company on Tuesday,
Alright.
and I'm gonna try and pitch him like doing a special release label that they can use the art for and like promote. Um, because I love absinthe, and it's just something that I've been a fan of for years, and I would love to have my label, with my artwork on a label. It's just a, even if it isn't like, it's not even about the pay. I just want to have, like, I want to be able to say I did that. I think it's just a cool thing to try and do.
Oh, no, that's pretty cool. It's awesome.
I think that'd be cool. So I'll see. I'll tell you how it goes. I'm meeting with this guy on Tuesday, and we're discussing um, how they promote the absinthe and like how they can improve what they're doing based on my assessment. Even though I'm not like I'm not necessarily like uh, I've done like I'm a creative person, but I'm kind of functioning more as like a creative director or like art director, not like an illustrator. You know, I'm thinking more like holistically about like what I think they should be doing, which is a lot more than just illustrating for somebody. Like it's kind of like coming up with ideas. You know, like um, so yeah. Well, I'll say how it goes. I'm meeting. That's the other thing. We're not gonna be able to do the figure drawing on Tuesday because I'm meeting this guy.
Ah,
Um, but
poo.
we y'all can still do it without me. But I just won't be able to attend. But um, but yeah, I mean, like doing absinthe labels, something I've always wanted to do. I would love to do some kind of like, I'd love to get some kind of poster illustration done. Like, I need to do it on my own. Like I say, like I want to do it my own, and then like I'd love to be commissioned or contracted to do a poster later on of something. I don't even know what, but I just like that idea. But it's like it's more about just doing something rather than the money. Like I'd rather just do that than I don't necessarily have like I have it like I said I already have a job, so like I'm now thinking more of just like what kind of projects do I want to do, just to say I did them, you know, like oh I did this, oh I did that before. I want to branch out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I think I every time it's my turn to speak, I start with the sentence. I think um, I have been posting more. The I think I've been taking the advice of like of posting more to heart because
Mm-hmm.
it's like art directors they doom scroll too. It's like but I think the one thing that I'm kind of a bit weary of is like it's like shit. It's like I've tried this before. Like when when am I gonna like how do I make sure that I don't fall off this time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just it's like posting marketing yourself like crazy is kind of like that's the one of the things that you should probably do to try and like have some sort of career as an artist because people in these positions that could get you hired could see your work on there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at the same time it's like there's also the factor of luck that's heavily involved into this. It's something that's a bit intimidating, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, posting posting to me like I want to do some new projects personally because um, I'd like to post stuff that people are just like, oh my god, this is sick, I love it, and that's obviously the goal for every artist, just to post something that people really think is cool. Like, and then by you posting the cool thing, you're shared and people find you, and that's kind of like I think that's like the ultimate goal. It's just to simply post something and people will like it and follow you. But I think if you're really trying to like get attention on you, like being smart about posting, like posting more reels, posting more little like videos that promote your art and like show the work in progress and get people excited about what you're doing, and like that kind of stuff works really well on social media right now. Like even though it shouldn't have to, like it should be like you could just post your work, but like the way the algorithm works, it feels like you need to like post a reel and show like exactly what you're doing and like show your face and like show your hand in the frame and like it's a bunch of stuff like that I find that people are needing to do. And like I haven't done it myself yet, just because I'm like I just don't want to take time to edit a bunch of videos and stuff. But if I was being serious about it, and I think if I didn't have a full time job already, I'd probably do a lot more of that.
uh, Honestly, just I don't know. Maybe I think I before I have a like I was going on more talks with I think professionals in the industry, and I think I
Hmm.
like I used to post I think bits and pieces of like podcasts that I would that I have. I think there's three clips. There's one with Ryan,
Hmm.
there's one with Gross Girl, and then I think I've had way more since then, but I haven't been posting because like I don't know. It's I'm not sure why, but
Hmm.
it's I don't know. I feel like just like making those reels. Like I think I heard that like reels are the new meta, but like when it comes to social media, but I think you know like making reels is a in and of itself kind of like a it's a like when you're trying to be a person on social media, it's like you it, it's there's already a lot that goes into it. Like for example, like we're artists, we have to essentially kind of like not only kind of just draw stuff, we also have to it's record it, and then we have to basically edit it, and then put in subtitles, and then put in like trending songs, and it's like the work compounds, and it's like, damn it, so why am I doing all this shit? I could just be drawing, and then
Yeah, yeah. It's its own job, and it's its own like skill set. Like to make an interesting, compelling short video, it's its own like expertise you could specialize in. Like there's people that like do it for brands and companies, you know.
mm, yeah, yeah, I think yeah, I think yeah, I think that's what like the marketing department does for most companies.
Yeah, they have a social media person that handles that stuff, and they'll probably what they normally would do is they'll outsource like if it's a big company they'll outsource that to like a small team that just shoots videos and edits them together for them, and then they just get it all done for them by like an external team. That's how it would work in like a big company, but you're not a big company, so you would need to come up with the idea you want to draw, um, plan out the drawing so that you can record yourself doing it or record yourself in front of your iPad, whatever your method is, and then like take all the footage, edit the footage, either find an app that does the subtitles for you or do the subtitles yourself by hand, and then like make sure you cut it in a punchy way with an interesting song, and then upload it. You know, at this ideally you're uploading it at the certain time of the day, which is like, oh, you upload it in the morning or whatever, like, or upload it in the evening, and then you do that, and then people are like, oh my god, sick video, and they like it and share it, and you blow up. And that's kind of like the goal. But like I said, if I wasn't working full time at a studio already, I would probably be doing that. I'd probably be like editing videos constantly, putting things out constantly, making myself look as interesting and busy as possible for people to come and hire me and stuff, and like showcasing my ideas and getting attention on your ideas. And that's something that, yeah, that's something that I would probably do because you need to find other ways to get revenue in. And yeah, I mean, there's only so much. I don't know. Like, there's only so much you can do with like RPG illustration. Like it only pays so much. So you need to like get people that are like commissioning you. You got to get people that are like, if you have like really good idea, like if you had really good ideas for your videos and you kept posting your videos, you could just start making money off posting videos, which is crazy. You know?
Yeah, it. I think I think I kind of feel bad for people who want to kind of get into this. It's like it's like you think you're getting into art just to like be an artist. It's like you're when you're trying to like get this job, you unwittingly sign yourself up for like it's like two other jobs publicist, marketer, editor. It's
Hmm.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been. I think it's always been tricky too. It's not just like if you imagine, let's say you and I were artists in like the 20s, 1920s. Not obviously we're in the 20s now, but if we were like 100 years ago, we were artists. It would be like you're getting all your supplies. You've got to have a place to actually paint that's got enough space to paint because like back then you would be painting like huge portraits, right? Like you might be a portrait artist that's commissioned to do like a full body portrait of somebody. So you need a space that could hold like a full body canvas, at least. And then like you'd have other pieces you'd be doing. And then when it came time for you to do like an art show, you would need to ship the actual painting, like physically ship it to a place, and then like make sure that it's not fucked up, and then like make sure that it's hung correctly, and then you've got to travel to the place to be there for the opening. So you got to like go to that place, and then I think there's a bunch of different things that like have become easier for us, and a bunch of things that are harder for us. But like it's a trade-off
Mm.
because like you personally don't have to like you're not painting in oils, which you would have to do probably back then, right? You had to be painting in oils or acrylic or something, and then you'd have to like if you're painting some of your Warhammer stuff, you'd probably have to paint like a giant battle scene. Like you'd have to like a whole wall of painting, to do. Um, yeah, there's trade-offs. I don't know. I think it's always been a little hard for artists. That's what I'm trying to say. It's always been a little hard for different ways.
Mm. Okay, okay.
I mean, if you can imagine, like the only way to show off all your work is to like physically like mail it somewhere, or you had to go pay someone to come and take professional photographs of it. Like if you're like an illustrator working in one of those early magazines, they would have like someone take a photo of the work, and then they'd have to reproduce that photo and as the cover of the magazine or something. And like, so you had to be friends with a photographer, or you need to be a photographer yourself in order to take a proper photo of your own work. And then you have to make sure that they develop it correctly so that the colors look correct, right? Because you spend all the time painting the colors correctly. Um, it still happens, but yeah, it's just I think it's always been tough to a degree. Um, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, okay. But so like how are things in say like England? Because like it's like you managed to like hmm, shit. No, no. How are things in England?
Um, you cut out just a little bit. What did you say? You said how are things in England because I managed to what?
No, no. It's I don't know. My brain did a fart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like how are things in London so far?
Things are great. I love being in London. Um, I love being in London. About 6 weeks ago, I think it was about 6 weeks ago, I started going to life drawing every week. That's been really fun. Um, it's basically my regular thing I go to now on
Oh,
Wednesdays. Life drawing, a bunch of people in real actual space, and I get to meet people, and we have drinks and draw, and then we all hang out and get to know people.
I
So
think
that's been good because the first year we moved here, I didn't really meet anyone myself. Like I met people through my wife, but like I didn't meet anyone on my own. So like everyone I knew when we first moved here was someone that my wife met through work, and then I told myself this year it's gonna be our second year here. I was like I need to start meeting people myself. Like I need to like meet my own like friends or people that are interested in the thing that I'm doing, um, so that I can just make my own connections. And it was a goal of mine. So like going to life drawing is one of the things that I've been looking to do um, since the beginning of the year. And then there's a bunch of life drawing around London, so it was really kind of me figuring out which life drawing is going to be the one that I'm going to commit to, because there's a bunch, and most of them aren't really close to where I live, so there's going to be a bit of a commute no matter where I go. But I found this one, and it's affordable, and there's like a bar, so they can get a drink, and then like it's it's only one train right away. Like I don't have to switch trains. I can just stay on one train and get there. Um, so I picked that one, and it's every Wednesday. And it's like £10, so it's about I don't know $12. Um, and the money really goes to like the rent and like the model. The money goes to the model mainly normally. So you're paying for the person to be there naked in front of you. So it's a good. It's not like it's worth it. It's a worthy cause. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think I should get back to doing stuff like that. I feel like ever since I just got sick, uh, you know, I just haven't been doing any of that. Just I've just been going. I think I've just been going back to that that pattern that I used to have, where it's basically just you go to school, you go to work, you go home, you go to work, go home. Yeah, I think I think I should, you know, get back to doing that. Uh,
I
also,
mean, I think you should. You
yeah,
should like, I think everyone. I mean, unless you've got like a family at home waiting for you, you should have a social life. You shouldn't just do work and home. Like, you should go out and meet people and get to know people and like, especially right now with like everyone is on the internet and like everyone's meeting people through the internet. That's like the number one way people meet people. Like going out and actually doing stuff, I think is really important, and it can be kind of scary for some people because they're like, "Oh, I just never go out."
yeah,
But I think you make bigger and better connections when you actually meet someone in person. You get to like talk with them and figure out how they are, and like, maybe you don't like him. I mean, I met this guy this weekend. He was really nice, but like I can tell he and I didn't like have anything we really had in common other than art. I went to a meetup this weekend, and one of the big takeaways I had from the meetup was that like I probably won't go back to a meetup like that because most of the people there are like half my age, and other than doing art, we don't have much in common. Like we don't like I'm not on the same stage in my life as they are, so we don't really have much to talk about other than art. And art's good. It's good to talk about art, but like that's just one part of life, and you can't constantly talk about shape language all the time. People talk about movies or talk about like food and travel. There's other stuff to talk about.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Also, I don't know. I think I need to work on like my social skills a bit. Like I've been doing that by going outside, but like I think ever since like I think I'm back to square one, where it's like I don't know. I'm back on Discord talking to some friends, and it's I think the reason why I do it's like okay, so last last year I went to Lightbox, and
yeah,
I
that's really
reconnect.
good.
Yeah, and I reconnected with an old high school friend, and we've been keeping in touch. And we go to the same Discord group, and from time to time we get on and we chat. But sometimes it's like I get a bit too comfortable, and I kind of keep on forgetting that it's like not it's like it's not just adults that go on onto the Discord chat, and it's like
Yeah,
it's sometimes like I'd make a joke, and it's like it's like it's like the joke like that's like in certain situations, certain specific jokes would work with specific people in
Yeah.
specific contexts, and I'm not exactly just cognizant of that. It just it just shoots off, and
Yeah.
granted, they were it's like they were kind of like they were graceful with it. I apologize. They were cool with they were cool with it. You know, but at the same time, it's like damn. It's like it's I think it's like I think to myself I'm like damn. I should be like really more aware of that. You know.
Mhm.
Also, it's like you know it's like that is also the reason why I managed to like throughout my young adulthood, like I would fumble friendships with this type of humor, and it's like I don't really want to do that again, especially in like especially when like people like if they say that we kind of have like a male loneliness epidemic, and I think throughout most of COVID and like most of my early 20s, I was like kind of like one of those people where I was like I was not in education, I was not in training or any employment, didn't have any I didn't really have any social connections, and it was not good. It was not good. My my parents, like my dad was like, "Hey, when are you gonna go back to the art students league or something?" And I was like, I was like, I was like, I don't think I'm going back because like I need money to be there, and it was it was my parents were doing all that they can to try to get me out the house. My mom was panicking because it's like I was basically an adult. I was an adult, but I couldn't find a job. It was it was not fun. It was not a good time.
You couldn't find a job like at a coffee shop or anything. Like, there was no job whatsoever.
I mean, I don't know. I think at that point, like maybe I could have applied to a job at a coffee shop. Uh, I tried getting a job at a fast food joint. My mom
Mhm.
didn't want me to go because like it's like at this point, what's the point of me going to college if I'm just gonna work at this Chipotle anyway? And it's like, well,
Money. The main point. You get some money. If
yeah,
if money was your
money.
if money was your issue to going to the thing you want to go to, then you gotta like destroy that issue.
Yeah, like,
So
money.
like making some money, yeah, just make some money. I mean,
But
just because you work at like Chipotle doesn't mean that's all you're gonna do ever.
yeah,
Like I when I was out of college, there was like a summer when I got out of college and university really. Um, there was a summer when I got out of university and um, I didn't start my job at the haunted house yet because I was basically like a bunch of us had decided we weren't going to work there, right? And then what happened was I sold pizzas that summer, and I went to office buildings and sold pizzas from my car because that was like the job I got. Um, that was the only job I could find. And then I also, um, I what else I do? I worked at Vans, the shoe store.
hmm.
I worked at Vans that same summer, and I also taught art with the city. And so I taught art. I was selling pizzas. I was working at Vans. I was basically doing everything I had to do to like make money and like do something. Like I wasn't. I couldn't just. It was when I graduated from university. It was 2008 after the financial crisis, so that nobody had a job. Like there was no job whatsoever to go to, and yeah, so there was no opportunity to do anything basically. So I just kind of made myself busy, and
Hmm.
so I had like 3 jobs, um, and the pizza one really sucked just because it was like what you were saying. Like, it's one of those jobs that makes you feel like I have not amounted to anything. I'm here selling pizzas, and the only time you can sell pizzas is if it's like Like if you own the pizza place, if it's your pizza place, then you could be like, oh yeah, I sell pizzas for a living. Like then that's different. Um, but like if you're just like a worker at the pizza place, normally people that work at a pizza place aren't trying to make it their career. Um, but anyway, I digress. My point was, um, I, it was one of those jobs where, like, you know, like I said, I had to go to office buildings to sell the pizzas. So like I was selling pizzas from my car, and I would be like selling pizzas, and there'd be these guys that like weren't that much older than me coming out to buy the pizzas from me in my car, and I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I should be the people coming to buy a pizza. I shouldn't be selling the pizzas. I should be one of them, like coming in. Like I could probably do one of their jobs, and I was like, I was kind of desperate for work, but I just made myself do these other jobs because I needed money, and so I was doing that, and then I eventually went to the haunted house and became a production designer, which is a much better job than. Um, it was a much better job, and I was like trained to do it, so it was much better for me to do that. But at that time, that summer, it was just like a summer of me doing basically odd jobs, like it was like selling pizzas, selling shoes, and teaching art. That was like my summer. Um, yeah,
Ah, yeah. I think, yeah. And I have a job now, I think you already know, like the paraprofessional. But,
yeah,
yeah, just, but, it's like for a while, when, I think I've said this like multiple times, but, for a while I was not in a decent place, not in a good place.
yeah, yeah. I mean, everyone's had a hard place. Like I don't know if I mentioned that. I'm bipolar, or I have bipolar. I don't know whatever you want to call it.
Oh,
I'm
I think BPD.
diagnosed with bipolar. Um, so lots of people with bipolar. I don't have this, but lots of people with bipolar get really depressed.
Ah,
It's just part of, like, you get really depressed, and then you get really manic, which means you feel really good. I only deal with the mania, um, but the mania has its own problems. Like, you basically will do things you're not supposed to do, or like you'll say things you would never say, and like you could be irritable, and like this is all before I was on meds. So I've been in places in the past where I was like, either making mistakes or doing things that I would never normally do, and like it was all because mental illness. So you can get into a place with mental illness, whether it's like depression or OCD, or there's a bunch of different things that can happen to you. It happens to lots of people.
yeah.
But I've been there. So all I'm trying to say is I've been there. I've been in a place where, like, bad places. It's not completely out of the normal for people to wind up like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think I'm mostly afraid of kind of being back at that. Just like I don't want to go back. Then
Yeah.
that time, it sucks. I don't really want to go back. You
Yeah.
know.
Was there some, like, circumstance that, like like if you were if you were an alcoholic, you would be like, I don't want to drink again because it would take me back there. But like, is there anything that was going on that put you in that space that you could, like, say, well, I won't do that again?
Well, no, not really. I think I kind of lucked out. My uncle is a principal, and
Ah,
basically he got me a job at a summer camp. And
yeah,
essentially, it's like I don't know. It's like jobs are kind of like, I think, like, I don't know. He told me like this. Jobs are kind of are like girlfriends. Like, basically there's this thing that goes on where, like, you have social proof, where basically it's like if you get a girlfriend, then basically people, not, I mean, I could just say women, but it's not just women. It's also like people open up to you more because it's like, oh, okay, if this person basically deems you safe enough to essentially kind of like be around and be intimate with, and and like show her to your friends and family, then yeah, you seem like a pretty affable dude. I'll talk to you or be friends with you or maybe give you a job or something. And basically, it's once I managed to get this job, uh, I now had something concrete to base my experience on. And
Yeah, yeah,
basically, when something happened at the job, like say I think the reason I got this contract where I was working a summer contract, and you know some like uh for some bogus reason I couldn't I couldn't come back I couldn't come back like in the fall. uh I like once I kind of after I after the contract ended, I just I think it was mostly the motivation to like not go back to being unemployed, because I also had to pay off my student loan debt. I had this
yeah,
motivation to just apply to every like group leader job I could find, and I kept
yeah.
applying and applying and applying. And one time I went to this interview in Riverdale, and basically I was just walking home, and out of fear that that I couldn't get that job or I wasn't going to get that job, I I on impulse like applied for another job. Like I went to the inside of like a this middle school, this charter middle school, and I said, "Hey, do you have any after school programs?" And they said yes, and they gave me the email. I went to the email. I sent them my resume and cover letter. I went through an interview process, and I got the job. And you know, and that was a job I stuck with for like a couple of years.
Yeah, that's
Now,
good.
yeah,
I mean, that's like I had a friend. And I still have them. They're a friend of mine. They had really good jobs, like in L.A. and
mm,
like they would work at like big production companies, let's say they would work at like Disney, and they had this job like at Disney. Um, and what they would do is they would be like they would basically apply to other jobs while they were at Disney, and like they would just be like, oh, I'm just gonna apply to other positions because I want to see what's out there and if I can maybe make more money. And like so, they constantly would have like these interviews like throughout the year. Like they would be like just like they would take like the day off for like a half a day and go do like an interview with a different company entirely. And their goal was like, if the company likes me, I'm just gonna ask for more money than I'm getting paid now, because that's like the only reason I would leave this company is to get more money. And like so, they would just jump around to different interviews constantly, even though they already had a job. And they're basically like always hunting for a better job. And that was kind of like one of their side jobs was they hunt for a better job. Um, what I
mm,
thought was interesting because I feel like most people don't do that kind of thing. Like most people find the job and they think they just want to settle. That's it. They're like, I find my job. This is it. Um, especially it's the concept artists and illustrator people. They're like, oh, I just want to work for Blizzard. And they're like, that's it. That's all I want to do. You're like, okay, well, okay. Like, you don't want to go anywhere else for
I,
the rest of your life. You just want to work for one company.
I feel
That's
like
it. That's all you want to ever do.
yeah, they kind of have that SpongeBob mentality, where it's like it's like they kind of got the dream job and they want to work there for the rest of their life. It's like I feel like
Yeah.
it it's I think with how the market, like the job market operates, and like I think back in like I think to say like the '60s, like you could essentially like work for a company for the rest of your life and they kind of reward you for your loyalty.
Yeah.
But I think now it's like that ship has sailed, and like and you're gonna have to kind of like be a bit more shrewd and kind of like be more considerate of like yourself, because essentially like there have been these like a lot of companies, especially tech companies, especially entertainment companies, have been doing mass layoffs, and these mass layoffs have been done with most of the purpose of kind of like of say like of course like it's like they're some companies like they're legitimately like going through like downsizing, and maybe like they've overhired, or they can't really like they can't really like support more like the employees that they have anymore, and those situations are they're pretty sad, but it's like of course when you have like these like massive $1 million game companies, like they're probably just they're probably doing so to kind of like I think it's like they're doing so to kind of like entice venture capitalists, appease shareholders, and manipulate the stock price. Like there's kind of like a bit of a corruption within the job market that you're gonna have to be cognizant of,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have I think you know like making a side thing or applying for other jobs, like possibly like like I've heard that there are double A companies who it's like while the staff is like it's not exactly as big as triple A, you know, they're still managing to like make decent projects. Like for example, I think Baldur's Gate is a double A company. Like the people who made Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think no, I think the applying for different jobs is a could be a good idea.
Yeah. I would say you just ignore that double, triple, single A, like all those. I would just say ignore it because what happens is it could be an indie game studio. They could have funding to hire you and pay you a good rate. Just because they're indie game studio doesn't mean that you're making no money. Um, it depends on the studio, but like there's plenty of indie game studios that are like there's indie game studios in LA that are gonna pay you basically LA rates because they have to because they're in LA and people that they hire in LA need to make a living, so they have to pay like LA rates. So you're making at least normal LA rates, and that's like something to consider. Like just because it's an indie studio doesn't mean you're like worse off than someone that works at Blizzard. I mean, there might be crazier. Like I know Blizzard does some crazy shit that an indie studio would never do. Like Blizzard will like rent out Disneyland and like they'll have their company party at Disneyland, like where they just rent out the whole place. Like that indie studio would never do that. But like those are some of the smaller things. So like or I guess they're bigger things, but in the grand scheme of things, that's like it's just a party. It doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah,
It's an impressive party, but like it doesn't,
sound
like yeah,
it sounds fun. You know,
yeah. It sounds fun. It's fun. I think it was for like a Christmas party. It was like the Christmas party of the year was like they rented out Disneyland. And, like you just go to Disneyland for basically nobody's there. Um, so it sounds really fun, but like in the grand scheme of things, you're gonna be working there longer than that one party. So like the party is fun, but like is the work good? Are the people you're working with good? Um, you could have a really good job at like let's say you get your dream job at Riot, but the people you work with are just terrible people, and you do not enjoy spending your day with them. Like I don't. I'm just that's an example. I think people at Riot are fine, but like maybe there's just someone that works there, and like you just don't get along. and you've got to deal with them because they're your boss. Like that's like a big reason you would probably be like, actually, Riot's not that fun. Maybe you're just a terrible person that's there. Um, it's just something to consider. Like the AAA single indie, all that stuff. Like it's really about the people who are there.
Mm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Some companies are just going to be like way better to work for, and some companies are just going to be really shit to work for.
Mm.
And there'll be some companies that the game they make isn't a game that you would necessarily want to play,
Yeah.
but they would pay you good money to work on that game, and you'll probably have fun working on the game because maybe the whole team is really cool, and you're all just working this game that's kind of a goofy game or whatever, but like everyone's really cool on the team, and like you're all making good money, so like that's the reason you would maybe stick with the indie studio.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah.
I think the, I think, uh, like one thing that I do not understand is I think why are companies so adamant on being like you have to show up for work? I feel like okay, so I think one thing that happens like say like in the comic book industry, this is kind of like a cross reference, is that essentially like a lot of like say startup comic book companies like they don't exactly kind of make it because essentially it's like over time their lack of funding it's kind of like it's their downfall, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's like I feel like they wouldn't have that problem if if you did everything like just remotely. It's like if you just
Oh, remote. Yeah.
yeah, it's like quite frankly I think this is there's this video where it's like an artist is kind of like it's like hey I'm moving out of LA because like it's you don't exactly need to be in LA to be an artist, you can just work remotely and
Yeah.
it's like damn that's it's like you can do that, that's awesome. uh,
Um, I'll answer your question because I literally do that job. I work remotely with a company in LA. So the reason you work in studio is for communication.
mm,
It's easier to communicate with people if you're actually in front of them and you can talk to someone face to face about an issue that's going on with like your work or the pipeline or something else. It's easier communication. It's faster. Like, let's say you and I work in an office. Um, I have a question about your concept. Let's say I'm your art director. I'm your
okay.
art director. I gave you a concept to do. I was like, hey, you need to design a truck. You're designing the truck. There's a question I have from your design. I'll just walk over to you and be like, hey, what's up with these wheels? And then you'd be like, oh, well, it's just this. Like, oh, okay, cool. Now that I clarified that, maybe we'll update this drawing or something, and then that'll be it. That it took like 3 seconds for me to come over and talk to you. Um, or I'm your art director and I live in London, and I see an issue with the wheels, and I'm like, ah, fuck. Um, I need to talk to Jacobo, but you're in like what, New York? You're in like New York, so you're not even gonna be awake until my 4. This is like 11 for you, right?
Yeah, it's actually noon.
Noon. Okay, so it's noon. So like 4 o'clock was 11. 2 hours before that. So like you're not actually going to be awake until 2 p.m. my time. So I've lost half the day waiting for you to wake up because we're not in the same office, and like I'm on a different time zone than you. And so as long as the company is okay with that kind of loss of time, remote is okay.
Mm.
But if if a company needs to move fast and function quickly, like most younger companies, it's a mixed bag. Either they're all remote or they're all in house. For me, when I started at the company I'm at, it was we were all in house. We all were in Burbank in an office together. Well, we were originally remote for like about a year, like where basically we couldn't afford an office yet, So I was remote for about a year, and then we got an office space, and so then we started going into the work office like every day. And being in office made a lot of things easier because of communication. And but it has its downsides because like being in office, it's easy to talk to people, but like it's distracting. And you basically you end up meeting and talking more than you normally would because it's so easy. And every time I come to you and say, Jacoba, what's up with these tires? You've got to stop what you're doing, which is working on something else, and answer my question. And then I go, okay, thanks, and I leave. And then you get back to work. And I come back, hey, Jacoba, could you update this thing real quick? And you go, okay. You stop. You update the thing. You get back to work, and then I leave, and I come back. I'm like, oh, actually, we just got a priority. You need to switch assignments to this thing right now. So you're like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna stop doing this thing. And like, stuff like that keeps happening over and over again, like at like an office space. And working remotely, none of that happens. You could just do your work, and unless it's like a big emergency. You probably just do your work and then report in at the end of the day and talk about what you did. Um, but on the flip side, let's say you worked all day remotely and you were kind of unsure about something. Well, if you're unsure about something, it means you either need to stop what you're doing and ask a question, which means you gotta jump onto Slack or Discord or whatever you talk to people for, ask a question, or you do more work where like maybe you're not sure about the tires. So instead of doing two options for the tires, you do four options because you're not sure about what the direction is. So you got to do even more work just to cover your bases. And then by the time the meeting happens, you're like, I wasn't sure if I should do one or two. So I went ahead and did one, two, three, and four. So what do y'all think? And it's like they might be like, oh, one's good. And you'd be like, okay, so you did three and four for no reason. You didn't actually need to do that work, but you thought you did because you weren't sure about something, and you couldn't just ask somebody, "Hey, is one or two okay?" And someone could have been like, "Oh no, one's good," and then you could have been just, "Okay, I'm just gonna do one." So that kind of little stuff like that like happens, and that is communication. To sum it up, I'm just giving you a bunch of examples of stuff that's happened to me, and like it's just easier to communicate in office, and but it's easier to get work done remotely.
All right, all right, all right. Yeah, yeah.
My buddy runs a game studio, and there is no office. They're just remote, and they're functioning, and they make games, and they don't have any office whatsoever. So you don't need an office. It just depends on the culture. Like, as someone like you're someone who's looking for work right now, right?
I mean, yeah,
Is your dream that you stay working in your room, like by yourself, forever?
I mean,
Or do you want to try going into an office and talking to people and going out to lunch with people and hanging out and like there's benefits to being in an office because you get to meet people, you
I
know?
mean, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, hmm. I mean, it's so like, I think so far, like the working in my room thing sounds very appealing. So I know that there's like cons to it, but like it's like, hey, if I work in my room, it's like it's like I can basically kind of like time slot my personal time into like into specific like it's just into specific pieces. Like it's like, hey, from like I don't know, like 9 to 5, like from like 6 to 8, I go to the gym or something. Then from 9 to 5, I work, and then from like 5 to 10, 5 to 12 or something, I I I either work on personal projects or I go to extracurricular activities, or I just spend time with you know a partner, or I walk my dog, or uh, I don't know, just just watch Netflix and veg out.
I would argue only because I kind of know you a little bit from talking to you online.
Yeah.
I would argue that it might be beneficial for you to find a job in studio somewhere, so you can like talk to people throughout the day chit chat, get experience in office communicating with people because it'll benefit you more holistically to be comfortable talking to people face to face. And then later on, once you've maybe done that for like, let's say you do that for like 5 years, you switch to remote for a different company, and you've had the experience working in person, and you're just like, oh, I did that already, and like you don't need it at that point because you've got the communication skills you built on from working or in person. That might be something beneficial for you because I had to change a lot of how I communicated with people once I started going into office because I was like you. I was working remotely from home, and you just get isolated at home, and you start, you fall into internet culture and like jokes and things that like aren't
That.
really appropriate for work.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. No, no. That is. That
I
makes.
was there. I mean, like I was like cracking jokes. Like that first year when we had the office, like I did crack jokes that were kind of like I always joke about death a lot, which made people uncomfortable. They'd be like, "Oh, why are you talking about death so much?" And like it was something that I would always end up like. I would always think it was just funny, and I'd bring it up. But like I had to start realizing like, oh, this is like not a normal thing to talk about all the time because like most people don't like talk about death so openly constantly like in the workplace. It's just not what happens. Um, Part of that was because I worked alone for a long time, and then part of that was because I used to work at a haunted house, and we talked about dead things a lot because that was the job. We were designing zombies and stuff. Um, so my only experience working any other place was at this haunted house, and that's not a normal job. Um, so I had to learn quickly that like there's certain things you don't talk about as much in front of people, like unless you really get to know them, and like really get to know someone means like hang out with them outside of work multiple times, and like maybe you know about their family a little bit. They tell you something about their family, and like that's how you really get to know someone, kind of thing. And that was me having to learn that, the hard way,
Mm,
back when I was starting.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the one challenge is like it's like if I ever get a job at like at a company somewhere, you know, you know, God willing, is
You'll get it. You will get a job at a company somewhere. You don't need to be. It'll happen. Um, I know it feels hopeless right now, but you will get a job somewhere. You don't need to pray to God for the job. You'll get one.
I mean, feels like it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's what I was saying. I mean, I've been in your position, and I was selling shoes, selling pizzas. Like I very much felt the same way. Where I was like, oh my god, I'm like fucking stuck in this terrible spot in my life, and like I studied art, and I'm not doing anything art related except for maybe teaching art. But like, yeah, I've been there. It gets better. You'll get a job.
I think the hardest part about essentially like being an artist and having a day job is that like when people like see your work and it's like, hey man, we should do something together. And you're like and you have to kind of like it's like you don't want to be a dick, so you have to kind of like it's like oh you have to just slap on a smile and be like oh sure, but deep inside you're like oh god damn it no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do your idea, man. I just
Oh
want to
yeah.
I just want to do it on my iPad. It's
I think one of the easy ways to combat that, if you get someone saying that they're like, oh, I really want to work with you, and you just have no interest in working with them, is you just find a way to work in how much you cost, and then they'll normally stop talking. um, like be like, oh, I don't. I'd love to work with you, but I don't normally start projects for anything less than 3K. And then they're like, oh, well, I don't have $3,000. I'm like, okay, well, guess we're not working together. That's an easy way if you're trying to like avoid the work. But then someone might actually say, I mean, I got that. We could work together on this thing. And if that's serious, then maybe you just got yourself a decent gig.
Nice.
If they're serious about it. Most people I find that want to work with an artist, they aren't serious about what they want to do. Most people aren't actually serious. They don't want to pay you. They don't want to pay you because they're not serious about it. Because they don't want to invest in their own idea. Like if I was opening up a restaurant, I would pay to have a good chef work at the restaurant. Um, I would pay probably. I would find ways. I would like raise money from like investors, and I would pay a chef a lot of money to work in my restaurant because they're good. Because it'd be an investment. It'd be like, oh, I'm investing in this restaurant that I'm making, and I found money. I didn't have it myself, but I found money to hire this person and to make my restaurant be one of the best restaurants. Like that's what someone who's serious does. Like they find ways to make it work if they're serious. And then someone who's not serious just goes, oh, I always wanted to do a children's book. That'd be really great if we could work together on a children's book. And then they're like, I don't have any money to pay you. And it's like, okay, why don't you pay me? Well, because it's risky. It's like, okay, so you don't believe in your own children's book. That's what you're telling me.
You lack conviction.
Yeah, you like conviction, and then the flip side is if I'm gonna work on a children's book for free, I mean, I'll just do my own children's book. Why am I working on yours? Like, maybe you're not a writer. Maybe that's a reason. Maybe it's more of like a team up thing, and you purposely team up with someone who's a writer, and you are an artist, and together you do work. That might be something different, where it's like, okay, we're collaborating on this. But then it's ways. Yeah. Anyway, so I know that was a joke you were talking about, people, but if someone is bothering you to work on something, the easiest way I found to get them to shut up is to just tell them your rates and be honest about it. Just be like, I don't work for anything less than this. And they'll be, oh, wow, okay, I can't afford you. Like, yeah, of course you can't. You're a professional artist. Um, most people don't view it that way because lots of artists are very desperate. So lots of artists will work for very little. They'll
Yeah.
be like, oh well, I mean, if you got like $100, I'll work it for $100. And it's just like, will you? Will you really work for $100? It's like such little money. I mean, you got to be like in dire straits,
It's like,
which some people are. You know.
yeah, I think that's like I would listen to kind of like like Dave and Dan's podcasts, and like they would talk about like the jobs that they had to do, the odd jobs. It's like
Yeah.
I think I have an old college buddy. I think he works for like a small indie animation studio now, but like before he was just doing like doing pornography for strangers on the internet.
Oh yeah.
He was
No, I mean, when I started, I did some really low paying freelance. Like I had to. Like I think with Dave, Dave proposes streams in his forum is how I got my start. And what I can say is that um, some of the low paid jobs, they're kind of like tester jobs, where like you need to kind of do them to even see if you can do this job correctly. I mean, lots of people say, hey, don't take on the low paid work, but in the reality is someone's going to take on low paid work because they're desperate and they need the money, and someone will say yes to it. Um, or there's someone who's like in a different country and the money means more to them. Or like making like $100 on something is like, oh, that's a lot of money for where I live. So that's different. Which you got to consider too. Sometimes that
yeah.
someone living in like India, like I think the rates are fare better for them if they're making like just like $100 here, $100 there. Like it's like for just doing a drawing. It's like, oh well, you you some more money. See, that's a bad example. Anyone listening to this, I just said India. It could be anywhere. It could be like,
Bali, Dominican Republic, you
yeah,
know.
okay, so you know Dominican Republic. I mean,
Yeah, it's like
I'm
I think
sure, like, yeah,
like I think the dollar economically is still like very powerful, despite the fact that the president that we have, you know, is just and like the things that our country has done, and like, well, not our country, my country. You're in like you're in London right now, so it's like,
no, I mean, I'm American. It's my country.
oh, okay.
I'm not British.
Wait,
Not yet.
oh, okay. Is your wife British or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice, nice, nice. That's like, honestly, that's the way. It's like, it's a lot of people in like like third world countries, or like countries like with like lower standards of living. They kind of like, they they uh, they kind of marry people in like, in like better off countries. I mean, obviously, that is not your situation. Like, like
No,
obviously,
no. I married my
yeah,
wife to get
because
the
you.
visa. I'm trying to anchor my life to the new, better world that is the UK.
Nice.
That's not true.
Yeah, yeah, it's like she is like they have passport bros. Apparently, she's a what's the gender swap version of that? Like passport sister, passport woman. I'm not sure.
but the no, I do think it's funny that like my family came from Mexico to the U.S. and I'm now going from U.S. to the UK. It's like
It's like
um,
it's like
they
nah.
worked hard. They worked hard to get to the U.S. and then I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm not
Yeah,
even gonna be here anymore.
it's like, yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like there's kind of like a sadness to this, because like it's like, damn, my parents literally sacrificed everything for a better
Mm.
life here, and it's like right now I don't see it. So far I kind of see it's like, it's like, first off, we're immigrants, and essentially like the U.S. has like has like a history of just making immigrants their like scapegoat for like everything that's wrong with their country, and it's
Well,
like,
The U.S. has a love-hate relationship with immigrants. As long as the immigrants are like doing the terrible jobs, they're like, okay, it's fine. And then like the moment the immigrant, I don't know, it's weird because they don't want to do the jobs the immigrants do, but then they don't want the immigrants to come in because they think they're stealing the jobs. Because it's like, okay, so what is it? They're stealing the jobs, or they're doing the jobs you don't want to do? Because it can't be both.
yeah,
Like, are you gonna go work in the field in the sun and pick strawberries like all day long for like shit money? Like, is that what you're gonna do? Or, oh, you don't want to do that? Okay,
are
so
you
you want
gonna
someone else to do that for you? Okay, I get it.
are you gonna do roofing in the summer?
Yeah, like, are you gonna do roofing in Texas in like 110-degree heat? Like, or do you want someone else to do it for you? Like, or like my grandfather after he retired, my grandfather worked as a custodian at a hospital. It's like, are you gonna go clean toilets? Like, or like most lots of people don't want these jobs, and it's just like
It's like,
someone else is happy to have them. Like my grandfather did it out of retirement because he was bored, basically,
yeah,
because he
it's
was
like,
in the military.
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, he went to Vietnam. He retired from the military, but he kept working because he wanted to just keep working.
All right, all right, all right. It's like, you know, it's like no one wants to kind of like, it's like no one wants to be the Trinidadian maid that has to deal with the senior citizen who's like slowly losing his or her mind and is constantly accusing her of like just stealing his jewelry.
Yeah, yeah, that's it's just it's a weird thing going on with the U.S. It's always been that way though. The U.S. is founded on people that immigrated from another country uh, onto stolen land, and then said, "No, this is our place." And like, it's just a bunch of controversy,
It's just,
all waddled into one.
yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, no, yeah, no, it's Fuck, what was I? Hmm, what was I talking about? Shit.
I don't know what we're talking about. We are talking about. I got distracted with the immigration stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about, I think, somewhere England. God damn it! I thought.
Oh, visas and passports.
No, maybe. I don't know.
You were talking about how my wife, like, how I was getting the visa. Um,
No, shit. I think I lost my train of thought. I don't know.
it's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I'm a U.S. citizen, so I take full responsibility for my idiot president.
What?
Um,
Fucking I
no,
don't. No,
I don't take responsibility. I didn't vote for him,
no,
but
me neither. Me neither. I voted for Kamala. The fuck? I didn't
No,
bomb that
I
school.
don't.
I didn't bomb that school in the Middle East. I was just chilling all weekend.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Anyway, what other questions you got?
Shit. Hmm. Shit. Fuck. Like say, I don't know. Fucking. There was one
What are you
question.
up to? Like, what's going on with your life?
Okay.
Um, like, tell me about you.
All right. Well, I recently got into a road test. I failed
Oh,
it.
nice. Oh shit. No.
Yeah.
Damn.
I got into a road test. Failed it. Like
What did you fail? Like, how did you fail it? Like,
Okay, so basically, the parallel parking. Yeah, apparently that was too wide. Also, I drove a bit too slow, and that, also my left turns were wide, and I think there's one time where I was driving on the street and there was a stop sign, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop twice because this is a two-way street, right? Okay, so basically, I stop, one Mississippi, two Mississippi, and then basically she stopped the car. It's like there's a person on the curb right there, and I was like, fuck. It was. I think the one thing that I managed to get right was the 3-point turn, but apart from that, it was just it was a nah. It wasn't. It was a I failed it.
you're having a much harder time than I did. My mom just taught me. That was it. And there was no driving test. There was just a written test.
That's how you got your driver's license?
Yeah.
That's not
In
fun,
Texas, your parents can teach you, and there's no driving test. It's a written test.
dude. That is
You just
not.
gotta you just gotta log hours with your parents.
Bro, that is not fucking fair, dude. What the fuck? I have to
I mean,
have to do all
it
this
was a
shit. I
kind
have
of
to.
a
Sorry.
it was like a double edged, like, it was my mom teaching me was interesting because she had bought me a. This sounds really spoiled. She had bought me a Mustang.
Nice.
Um, for like, she was like, this will be your car. But as someone who's never driven before, Mustang is a very intimidating car to drive, because it can go really fast very quickly. Um, so she was trying to teach me on the Mustang, and I remember, like, it felt like every time I put the gas on, like, it felt like the car just, like, lunged forward, and I was just like, fuck. And she was like, all right, just put your foot in the gas and just. We got in the car and she was like, just put your foot in the gas, it'll go forward, and then the brake is to the side. And I was like, wait a second. What about, like, the turn signal and, like, all this other stuff that I know you do when you drive? He's like, oh, don't worry about that. We'll do that in a minute. And I was just like, no. You need to tell me everything I'm supposed to do before I start putting the gas on. Because I'm not gonna just drive without knowing how to do it. Like, I'm the kind of guy, when I play a video game, I read the instruction manual first. And, like, I'm like, okay, well, see, that even dates me. There is no instruction manual for most video games. But
Oh, yeah, I
I'm the
think.
kind of
Uh,
I'm the kind of guy that I listen to the tutorial, and I follow the tutorial all the way through before I end up playing the game. Like, that's kind of how I go with gameplay. Like, so, like, for me driving the car, I was just like, you gotta tell me what everything does first before I start doing the things, because I'm just not gonna it's not gonna work for me to like just. But anyway, she ended up teaching me on the Suburban instead, the SUV,
Hmm.
and the Suburban handled very differently than the Mustang. It's a much slower vehicle, and so it felt more comfortable turning and maneuvering in the Suburban. So I learned in the Suburban, and then I got my license. But it was a much easier process than you.
Yeah, no, I
Than
have to.
you.
And like it's like I have to like it's like first I have to essentially like learn about all the signs. Then I have to basically do a test, like an actual test to get my learner's permit, and then I have to sign up for tests.
Yeah, yeah.
No, sign up for classes, and then like they're like 50 bucks per class, and
It's expensive.
yep, and now it's like I have to do a test, and it's like while doing that test, I have to deal with essentially just like DMV employees, and that is its own special brand of hell.
Yeah, yeah. That's the same everywhere, though.
It's like,
That's not just New York.
well, I don't,
I
it's like,
think New York is much worse than Texas.
yeah, it's like I don't know what's the deal with like the DMV employees. It's like, what does the Department of Motor Vehicles do? They pay you to be, do they pay you to be like extra to be an asshole, or is that just you, bro? What
No, they do actually. Have you heard that thing that they released recently?
like,
Just joking. Um,
for a
there.
second there.
I found what I did is I got my license in Texas, and then I moved to LA for like 8 years, and I had to renew my license, and I was like, fuck. And technically, you're supposed to get a new license in the state that you move to. You can't just keep your same license.
Wait, really? I thought like you had to kind of like it's like I thought once you got like your license in like another state, it's like you were good for all the other states.
Not if you're moving to live there.
Oh, that's bullshit. All right.
If you're driving through, it's fine. But like if you're like I'm gonna go become a resident in California, you technically have like 6 months to get your new license, and it involves another test you have to take, um, which I failed when I was in California. I failed the test, and I waited like I think I was at the DMV for like I don't know 3 hours, 4 hours, and then I failed the test. They're like, "Well, come back the next day." And I was just like, "Fuck!" I just spent like 3 hours or 4 hours here. I spent like half the day at the DMV, and I was just like, "This fucking sucks." And then like, uh, I flew back to Texas for a vacation, and the DMV in Texas, there's like no line at the DMV in Texas. And so I went there, and I just renewed my Texas license, and I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna have my Texas license forever." So I never got my California driver's license. I just got my Texas one.
Yeah, no, it's just yeah, nah, man.
That's illegal. Let me just state that. Don't do what I did. It's technically illegal.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It's just like it's it's like the reason why the reason why I'm doing this is because like I feel like uh, I know it's an irrational feeling, but it's like
Hmm.
it's like I did this because I wanted to kind of like you know have it's like I feel like one landmark of essentially like it's like being an adult is like getting your driver's license. It's like
Hmm.
you have a driver's license. It's like that means like you can drive a car. That means you can
Hmm.
go places, on your own. Adult. It's like it's independence and shit. And then essentially you know it's like I thought, hey, I just take a shit ton of classes throughout the month, and I take this one class, easy peasy. Apparently not. It's like I think
Yeah.
one thing that I constantly have is like just nerves. Like I do not want to crash or like hurt anyone. But it's like,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
but some that kind of like that works against me. And
Yeah.
also it's like during the test she was like making comments about like my turns, and I was like, fuck. It's like, oh no, okay, it's okay, just keep on going, it's fine, you got this. And I think I don't know, I get two in my head, And then I don't know, for some reason during the road test, I thought about, it's like, okay, just take it slow. Take your time. What's the rush? She made a comment about how I was going slow, and I was like, fuck. It's like, it was just like getting worse and worse. And
How
then
slow are you going? It's not a crime to go slower than the speed limit.
I
You got
know
to be going ridiculously slow.
it's like, well, I wasn't going slow. I wasn't like, but it was like I was in like I was in a part of the Bronx where there were like no tall buildings. It was kind of like a pseudo
Mm-hmm.
suburb, and like basically I didn't really think like, and also the streets were like empty. I didn't really think it was like, or kind of empty. I didn't think it was an issue, but basically just
Well,
you know,
it's a double-edged sword there because if the
yeah,
streets are empty, I would argue, why aren't you going faster? if
yeah.
I were
Well,
her.
you know, it's just yeah, no, it was just not a good time. Not a good time. I think
No, no.
I
Well, I'm
still
sorry that happened to you because it's annoying.
yeah, it's you know, and like though I am kind of determined though. Like it's like I'm gonna take another test soon. Obviously, I feel like I have to because like you know it's and like this year my birthday my 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 permit expires. I still have time, but
Yeah.
it's like I gotta get this shit done this year. I don't want to do that test again.
Yeah. Do the test. Just, you know, it, try not to overthink it. Like, just remember that, like, there's complete morons that know how to drive and have a license, so you can do it.
Yeah, I see them on the road every day, and meanwhile, it's like, you know, he's like just, he's like, I think one day, I was kind of like, just walking home from like the park after kind of like, just like decompressing from the test,
Yeah.
and basically, he, I was like 1 block away, he was driving, and essentially, like, I'm not sure how he was fast, how fast he was driving, but I gotta say, it's definitely more than the speed limit, and that
Yeah.
motherfucker has a license,
Yeah. Yeah.
which also gives me a reason to not like the DMV person who took the test was even more.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it all depends on who you got for the test. Do you take, like, lessons, like driving lessons?
Yeah, yeah, and they're pretty like, they're pretty chill. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I think. Well, good luck with the next time you try, because
Yeah,
that's you're having a much more stressful. My wife also, her parents taught her, so she just took a written test.
fucking what
Um,
happened to that? What happened to the written test? I don't want to. Like, why
I think it might
why do
be a
you get
Texas
to
thing because we were both in Texas.
why do you get to have this awesome experience, have this like decent, have this chill experience of learning to drive and doing a written test, and I have to sit here and like be judged for 8 minutes straight by this obese DMV worker. That's
I
not
think
fair.
well, you can leave his weight out of it.
I'm sorry. I'm just
His
angry.
weight had nothing to do with it.
I'm sorry.
He
I'm
could
just
have been a
angry.
skinny DMV worker and still been an asshole. Um, but
I am just
I don't
angry.
know. I think it's a Texas thing because we both didn't have to do a driving test, and then but when now that we're here in London, we're eventually going to need our driver's license, and over here you drive on the other side of the fucking road, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Hopefully, you don't go through what I'm going through currently right now.
I think it'll be a little easier. My wife will probably get her license this year because eventually we're going to probably want to. We're not going to want to
No. Okay.
buy a car, but we're going to want to be able to drive
All right.
in
All right.
London.
Yeah. This thing is weird. For some reason, I'm looking at the. Hold on. Give me a second. Yep. Okay. So how do I just?
If you have any further questions, I'm probably going to have to leave soon.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, hmm. So I think, I don't think I have a question actually.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do the figure drawing this week, but if y'all want to do it without me, it'd be cool if people did it without me. Um, and then y'all can still have your social time. Um, but I'll be back the next Tuesday to do it.
All right. All right. All right.
But yeah, I think that's about it then. I'm just finishing up. I've been doing freelance, so I'm trying to get these drawings done for this card game. But they're all like these simple drawings. They're not like they're for the one they're drawings. They're not like complete paintings. So I'm just trying to get them done fairly quickly, so this job doesn't take me too long and I hit my deadline. But I'm almost done with the ones for today. So thanks for chatting with me because it helped me to kind of focus and get these drawings done while I talk to you.
Yeah. No problem. No problem. No problem. Yeah. Honestly,
Um,
it's it, it's the account. It's honestly like nice to have a conversation with you. Yeah, especially it's like
yeah, no worries.
yeah. All right.
We can chat again. Next, obviously, I'm not going to be here Tuesday, but we can chat the next Tuesday
Yeah.
at the life drawing if you make it up to that. Make it up to that if you just get online. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I'll talk with you then. Probably next Tuesday at the earliest.
Yeah. Of
Um,
course.
and then yeah, hopefully everything goes well and you get your driver's license test done.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Tell me how it goes. Keep me updated.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
Yeah. Good luck with the next test, and then I just say try not to stress over it too much because, like I said, remember, like complete morons can drive, so you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. Well, I'll let you go for now, and I'll talk to you next time we see you.
Of course. Of course. I will talk to you next time I see
Cool,
you.
man.
All right.
Cool. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
See ya.
All right. See you. All right. I think I'm gonna keep the stream going because for most of the stream so far, it's just been it's just been it's just been like for some reason like okay, let me just there was like this giant floating box. Let me just okay, so I'll just hold my thing to this icon. Wait, what? Not doing it? For some reason it's been just doing that. I don't know why. Maybe it's the maybe it's no maybe I'll just I made a con. Okay. All right. Well, I guess. All right. Okay. So you know what? I was in the midst of a conversation, so I am going to address the audience now. Okay. So had that box. Okay, so Madara, how's it going? Tatis SR, how's it going? Maxine, how's it going? How's it going? Dead Set, how's it? It's actually, man, how's it going? Dead Set. It's been a while, man. How is it going? What it do, brother? All right, I'm gonna do this for a little while longer, cause the streaming software was tripping out. Who knows? I might have to proactively, you know, do something with the audio. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have called the DMV worker fat, but or obese. But at the same time, man, she did not have to be so mean. So yeah, nah, I'm going in. Kill. I am just angry. Mm. But well, look for some music. Synthwave, royalty free because YouTube is just a dick. Alright. It's corny, but it works. I'm going to take a little bathroom break. going suit shopping. Shit, I haven't gotten paid yet. Man, I have to go to a gala on May 3rd, dude. Shit, I haven't even applied for a summer job yet.
I don't even want to go anywhere. So my legs are just hurting. Oh my god. Man,
I could do this. Hmm. Alright. This is supposed to be a sketch. This is supposed to be a sketch. Yeah, I think I gotta go. I gotta get dressed because I gotta go shopping with my parents soon. So yeah, this is it. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tonight if possible after I've gotten ready for my job. But yeah, sorry for the for those who wanted to see my stream. Sorry for the giant box blocking everything. I did not know the streaming software is bugging, but hopefully we will not have that problem later on tonight if I show up. Thank you. Keep drawing. Keep going. Keep being creative. Because in a world of AI slop and technical and tech and tech oligarchs,